Hello everyone, and welcome to today's screenwriting workshop. In this class, as always, we're not just reading, we're working together to translate text into the language of cinema. Today, we're focusing on one of the most important skills, how to take a highly descriptive, philosophical piece of prose and transform it into a visual, cinematic scene, and what you'll learn today. In this session, you will learn 1. The fundamental difference between prose and screenplay, from inner thought to outer image, from abstract feeling to sound and vision. Author's introduction. Every writer carries within their heart a story, a seed that seems to sprout from the very depths of their soul, restless until it takes shape in words. Wang. Amidst the shadows of deception and the light of truth was, for me, such a story. A seed watered by years of profound curiosity about the intricate nature of good and evil, contemplation of the unbreakable ties between past and present, and countless questions regarding the power of choice and the essence of human salvation. This work is not merely a novel. It is a sincere endeavor to explore the very fabric of our being and to vividly portray the hidden battles raging both on the grand stage of existence and within the innermost sanctuary of each human heart. 2. How to write a correct and professional scene heading, slugline. 3. How to turn a descriptive paragraph from a novel into short, punchy action lines. 4. How to adapt dialogue so that it reveals character and drives the story through what can be seen and heard. When confronted by the immense forces of good and evil that are ever present in our lives, we can illuminate our path with the light of truth and emerge victorious in the eternal battle of the soul. The story of Wang is an invitation to awakening, to vigilance against deception, and to remember the power inherent within each of us, a power that can guide us from darkness to light and from despair to hope. This book was written not merely to tell a tale, but to ignite a flicker of hope in the darkest shadows and to inspire hearts that yearn for meaning and truth. I sincerely hope that within these pages, you will find not only entertainment and the pleasure of a good story, but also deeper insight and a fresh connection with the very essence of existence. With profound respect and wishes for a meaningful journey, Stefan Avshar, in a palatial hall forged from molten gold, with obsidian pillars adorned by intricate golden serpents, Lucifer, once renowned among the angels as the morning star, reclined upon a throne of pure liquid gold, embellished with rubies that gleamed like solidified drops of blood. A soft, enigmatic aura, a lingering echo of his lost splendor, enveloped him. The gentle dripping of molten gold from the high ceiling occasionally punctuated the silence, while the sharp scent of sulfur and the heavy aroma of hot metal permeated the air. An oppressive heat radiated from the throne and pillars, rendering the atmosphere thick and suffocating. The dim, mysterious light reflected off the polished obsidian surfaces, dancing with the crimson gleam of the thrones, rubies to cast spectral shadows upon the hall's walls. On either side of the grand chamber, ranks of fallen angels, their once radiant faces now withered and sorrowful, bowed their heads in his presence, their broken, darkened wings, no longer capable of soaring through celestial realms, dragged upon the ground, and their tattered, soiled garments narrated tales of their descent and humiliation. Their gazes held a mixture of fear, longing for the past, and forced obedience to their new sovereign. Before Lucifer, the three seductive sisters, Ishtar draped in a gown of fiery crimson silk, Anahita in fabric of deep ocean blue silk, and Lilith, cloaked in midnight black velvet, were entwined in a mesmerizing and unrestrained dance. Their sheer, alluring attire billowed with each movement, revealing their forms. Their steps shifted between languid, enticing gestures and swift, audacious twirls, their every effort aimed at pleasing their master, their gazes fixed upon Lucifer, were a blend of adoration and supplication, with a subtle undercurrent of hidden dominance. The soft chime of their jewelry and their enchanting whispers during the dance heightened the Lucifer, holding a golden goblet filled with wine that embodied the solitude and isolation of 1,000 years, allowed a triumphant and devilish smile to play upon his lips with each sip. The expression on his face as he drank betrayed pleasure and satisfaction with the spectacle unfolding before him. His gaze, sweeping between the fallen angels and the seductive sisters, held a mixture of disdain for weakness and contentment with their service. With a languid swirl of the wine in his goblet, he spoke in a voice that was not loud or resonant, but rather a chilling and insidious murmur. "Your services have been invaluable." Intoxicated by his boundless power over this earthly realm, a mocking laugh echoed from the depths of his being, as if the fate of humanity were no more than a trifle in his hands. His eyes, like two orbs of profound darkness, gleamed with pride and victory, and within their depths surged a narrative of rebellion, mastery, and unbridled pleasure. A heavy and significant silence reigned in the hall, broken only by the soft sound of the wine being sipped, the rustle of the dancers' feet, their murmured words, Lucifer's occasional laughter, and the distant whispers of tormented souls and the clinking of chains. Gusts of scorching winds from distant corridors also occasionally reached their ears. In that moment, he was not merely the ruler of a separate domain, but an embodiment of will, self-reliance, and dark dominion. In the very instant the seductive sisters, intoxicated by the power of their allure, reached the zenith of their mesmerizing dance, and Lucifer, steeped in the heady wine of his pride and arrogance, a state of self-worship where he perceived himself as the unchallenged sovereign of his dark dominion, the silence of the hall shattered with a deafening, grating sound. The 1,000-ton golden gate, its surface seemingly forged from the molten envy and malice of humankind, and etched with the grotesque visages of greed, swung inward with a deep, resonant groan that echoed like the lament of the gate itself. From the widening chasm, tendrils of dark dust and phantasmal shadows crept into the hall. A subtle tremor ran through the ground, and the reverberation of the opening door pulsed through the chamber. An angel with a single broken wing, its other appendage mangled and drooping, several feathers torn away in a testament to its ruin, entered. His head bowed low, his form hunched in utter humiliation and deference. His face was ashen, his hollowed eyes pools of stark terror, and beads of cold sweat glistened on his brow. His hands trembled visibly, and his unsteady, faltering steps betrayed his struggle to maintain balance with his sole remaining wing. He resembled a wretched, broken creature as he advanced slowly and with evident effort, finally halting before Lucifer's throne. Lucifer, his brow furrowed in incredulous astonishment, ceased his indulgence in the wine, his gaze tearing itself away from the lascivious ballet of his consorts, who had abruptly stilled their movements. Their curious and bewildered, yet subtly apprehensive, gazes fixed upon the newly arrived angel. His voice, moments before a blend of drunken triumph, now held a sharp, impatient edge. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded, his dark eyes now narrowed and dangerous, piercing the trembling figure before him. "What untimely intrusion is this? Is it conceivable that in this earthly realm I govern, not even a single soul possesses its own breath? Are not all, be they angel or mortal, perpetually bound in my adoration? What has transpired that this sacred silence is so audaciously broken?" He leaned forward slightly, abandoning his regal repose. The one-winged angel, who trembled before Lucifer's majestic wrath like a reed in a storm, struggled to speak. His lips parted with difficulty, but no sound escaped his throat. Fear seemed to have choked the very breath from him. Impatience flickered across Lucifer's features. His eyes narrowed further, and a spark of incandescent fury ignited within their depths. "I remember," he said with a dangerous slowness, his voice now imbued with an ominous undertone. "It is you, you have come before in such a wretched state. And then too you brought tidings of ill omen, the news of the birth of that second human, the second creature the creator of all existence fashioned, a fleeting image of his fall from grace, and the theft of his cherished title. The morning star flickered through his mind, casting a shadow of ancient pain and resentment across his countenance. A great screenplay scene description is minimal, active and focused on what the camera sees and hears. Your task: rewrite the first paragraph of the scene, the description of the hall and Lucifer, into proper screenplay format, focusing on visual and auditory cues. Use action verbs and avoid adjectives that can't be shown, like enigmatic aura, profound darkness, or triumphant and devilish. Focus on the scene heading, slugline. Does it need to be a specific location, or just NT? Lucifer's realm, throne room night. The visuals: molten gold, obsidian, rubies. Lucifer's specific look, not his internal pride, but his expression. The sounds: SFX, dripping gold, rustling wings, whispers, scorching winds. Lesson 3, subtext and dialogue. The scene features a fascinating interaction between Lucifer and the one-winged angel. Analysis of dialogue and action. Lucifer's internal state, he must. Intoxicated by boundless power, pride, self-worship, viewing humanity as a trifle. Lucifer's action dialogue. Your services have been invaluable. Insidious murmur. What is the meaning of this? Are not all, be they angel or mortal, perpetually bound in my adoration? What has transpired that this sacred silence is so audaciously broken? Sharp, impatient edge leaning forward. The angel's action hunching. Ashen face, pooling terror in eyes. Trembling hands, faltering steps. Struggles to speak. Fear has choked the breath from him. Exercise 3, creating dialogue and character action. The scene ends on a classic cliffhanger moment of tension. The angel cannot speak due to fear. This is the inciting incident for this particular subplot. Your task: write the next 5 to 8 lines of dialogue and action for this scene. Resolving the silence. Lucifer. What is his next immediate action after the angel fails to speak? Does he wait, or is he instantly furious? Does he stand? Does he gesture to the seductive sisters? The angel. When he finally speaks, what is the first word that forces itself out? Does he stutter? Is it a plea? A confession? What information does he deliver? And how does that information visibly affect Lucifer and the assembled fallen angels? Remember, dialogue is action. The words they choose should immediately establish the stakes and reveal character, driving the story forward. So what did we discover today? That a screenwriter is like an architect. You take raw text as inspiration, but you draw the blueprint that every department of a film will follow. To summarize, in screenwriting, show, don't tell. Every line must earn its place by moving the story forward. Above all, you are the bridge between literature and cinema. If you enjoyed this session, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the upcoming lessons. And I look forward to seeing your practice scenes in the comments below. In our contemporary world, engulfed by the dizzying speed of information and myriad challenges, there is often little opportunity to pause and reflect upon the deeper, eternal battles between light and darkness, truth and falsehood, faith and doubt. Amidst this clamor, the whispers of lies and temptation sometimes grow so loud that the tranquil resonance of truth becomes difficult to discern. This book is an invitation to open a window onto this primordial battlefield, to depict it not only in its vast, cosmic dimensions involving supernatural powers, but also on the delicate and sensitive scale of the human mind and heart, where even the smallest decisions can forge great destinies. In this journey, you will accompany Wang, a young man from an ancient and mystical land, who, facing an unknown fate, suddenly finds his soul embarking on an involuntary voyage beyond time and space. he is thrust into one of the most tumultuous and pivotal epochs of human history, the era of Jesus Christ's advent and mission. This journey is not merely an adventure through time. It is a quest for truth, a confrontation with malevolent forces, and a striving to understand his place within the grand tapestry of destiny. Wang struggles not only in the cold, dim corridors of a modern hospital, wrestling with his very existence, but also in the dusty alleyways of ancient Jerusalem, by the sacred waters of the Jordan River, and even within the stony, ethereal halls of Lucifer's realm, engaged in a battle for his soul's salvation and the discovery of the essence of being. On the other side of this veil, Lucifer, the embodiment of pride, envy, and the father of lies, orchestrates elaborate, wicked schemes with an army of tempters. He is a master of deception, exploiting human weaknesses to sow seeds of doubt, despair, and deviation within human hearts. From conspiring to mislead John the Baptist into igniting a terrestrial rebellion, to attempting to trap Wang's soul in the labyrinth of the past, Lucifer employs every available means to expand his dominion over humanity's ignorance and sin. Yet, standing in opposition to him is Jesus Christ, with the light of his wisdom and divine word, a light that illuminates truth, bestows hope upon humanity, and reveals the path to salvation. My endeavor in writing Wang, amidst the shadows of deception and the light of truth, extends beyond merely recounting a historical or spiritual narrative. My aim has been to weave together the threads of a breathtaking adventure, a profound human drama and deep philosophical and theological concepts, compelling the reader to reflect. This book will reveal how truth, as it has been taught to us, sometimes lies hidden behind a veil of falsehood. It will show how temptations can don the garments of righteousness and lead us astray. And most importantly, it will illustrate how, in the opening scene of a novel, Wang, Amidst the Shadows of Deception and the Light of Truth, by Stefan Afshar. As screenwriters, our job is to transform prose into pictures and action, to find the dramatic core and the cinematic potential of a text. This text is dense and highly conceptual. Let's break it down, focusing on what works for a screenplay and what we'd need to adapt. Analyzing the author's introduction, thematic foundation. First, let's look at the author's introduction. It's crucial because it clearly lays out the themes, stakes, and protagonist's journey. Thematic density and stakes, logline potential. The big ideas. The introduction is a flood of high-concept themes. The intricate nature of good and evil, unbreakable ties between past and present, power of choice, and the eternal battles between light and darkness, truth and falsehood, faith and doubt. Screenwriting. Takeaway: this is fantastic for selling the film. It establishes a huge cosmic scale. Our challenge will be to translate these abstract concepts into concrete, visible action and dialogue. A movie can't talk about the battle of good and evil. It has to show it. The protagonist and the journey, the core conflict. Protagonist Wang, a young man from a mystical land, an involuntary voyage beyond time and space, into the pivotal era of Jesus, Christ's advent. He is struggling in a modern hospital and in ancient Jerusalem. The conflict. He's caught in a battle for his soul's salvation and the discovery of the essence of being. He is a link between the contemporary world, hospital, and the ancient. Spiritual battlefield. Ancient Jerusalem, Lucifer's realm. Cinematic hook. The voyage beyond time and space, and the physical juxtaposition of the modern, hospital, and ancient. Jerusalem is a powerful visual concept. This is a classic fish out of water, setup amplified by time travel and spiritual stakes. This suggests an intercutting structure, perhaps a present-day frame, Wang in the hospital, and the past narrative, Wang's spiritual quest. 2. Antagonist, Lucifer, and the power of deception. Lucifer's motivation. He is the embodiment of pride, envy, and the father of lies. His goal is to exploit human weaknesses, to sow seeds of doubt, despair, and deviation. His scheme. Specifically, He conspires to mislead John the Baptist into igniting a terrestrial rebellion and attempts to trap Wong's soul. Screenwriting potential. Lucifer is a magnificent antagonist. He is not just a monster. He is a master manipulator and a political schemer. This makes his scenes inherently dramatic. The subplot with John the Baptist gives his machinations a specific, historical and high-stakes goal that affects the whole world. Analyzing the opening scene. Cinematic execution. Now we move to the opening scene. This is often the tone setter for the entire film. The author is describing a setting and a character that are the antithesis of the typical world. 1. Setting and atmosphere. Art direction and mood. The Hall of Lucifer. Palatial hall forged from molten gold, obsidian pillars adorned by intricate golden serpents, and a throne of pure, liquid gold, embellished with rubies that gleamed like solidified drops of blood. Screenwriting translation. This is a production designer's dream and a director's challenge. It establishes hell not as a smoky, cliché inferno, but as a place of decadent, suffocating, and oppressive wealth. The recurring motifs, molten gold, obsidian, heat, sulfur, create a visceral, specific hell. We need to make sure the visual is grand yet also repulsive, its beauty corrupted. Atmosphere, oppressive heat, sharp scent of sulfur, and thick and suffocating air. The sound design is key. Gentle dripping of molten gold, distant whispers of tormented souls and the clinking of chains. Screenwriting takeaway. The visual description is excellent, but we must translate the feeling of the place, the atmosphere, into the script's action lines and sound cues. 2. Character and conflict, action and dialogue. Lucifer's introduction. He is introduced through decadent action, reclining, holding a golden goblet of wine, watching the seductive sisters. He's intoxicated by his power. His state, this is crucial. He is in a state of arrogant self-worship and unrivaled. Contentment, the perfect state to have. His ego violently shattered. The seductive sisters, Ishtar, Anahita, Lilith. Their mesmerizing and unrestrained dance serves a clear purpose. To illustrate Lucifer's immediate earthly dominion over desire and temptation. Screenwriting focus. Their movements and attire need to be choreographed and described not just to be alluring, but to highlight the corrupt nature of the court. The inciting incident disruption. The moment of highest pride is when the silence is shattered by the deafening, grating sound of the gate. Dramatic irony set up. Lucifer's line before the disruption is perfect for a movie. Is it conceivable that in this earthly realm I govern, not even a single soul possesses its own breath? Are not all, be they angel or mortal, perpetually bound in my adoration? He is boasting about his total victory just before an agent of defeat arrives. This is high drama. The herald, the broken angel. The entrance of the one-winged angel is a powerful visual metaphor for defeat. His ashen face, hollowed eyes, and struggle to speak. Fear has choked him. Instantly establishes the gravity of whatever news he carries. Screenwriting resolution. The scene ends on a perfect cliffhanger. Lucifer's demand what has transpired, and the angel's inability to speak. The emotional tension is maxed out. This is a strong cinematic opening. Adaptation strategy for a screenplay. Opening sequence. We would likely start with this scene in Lucifer's Hall. It immediately establishes the stakes, antagonist, and world. Intercutting. We would need to introduce Wong very quickly, perhaps intercutting between the Hall of Hell and the cold, dim corridors of the modern hospital, as mentioned in the intro. The contrast would be jarring and effective. Visualizing the conceptual. The spiritual battles must be visualized. When Wong is being tempted, it can't just be inner turmoil. It must be a physical, tangible confrontation with the fallen angels or illusions created by them. Dialogue. The current dialogue is sparse, which is good. Lucifer's dialogue must retain that chilling, insidious murmur, but be precise and theatrical. The tension in the final exchange with the broken angel is perfect. and should be used as a scene break. Any questions on how we would translate the high-concept theological elements into concrete visual action? I'm excited to start this journey with you. Writing a screenplay isn't just about telling a story. It's about translating that story into the visceral, immediate language of a camera and an actor. Today, we're diving into the absolute basics. This is Screenwriting 101, Entering the World of the Screenplay. Session 1, Entering the World of the Screenplay. The text you've all read, the authors, introduction, and the opening, scene from Wang. Amidst the shadows of deception and the light of truth is our first case study. It's rich, descriptive, and imaginative, but it exists in the realm of prose. Our job is to understand how we would take that prose and transform it into a blueprint for a movie. 1. The difference between a story, prose, and a screenplay. This is the most critical distinction you need to internalize. Feature: prose, novel story; screenplay, film script. Medium: imagination, internal thought, description. Visuals and sound: what the camera sees and the microphone hears. Pacing: can linger on internal feelings, philosophy, and backstory. Relentlessly forward-moving action: every line must justify its existence. Focus: are often internal, the character's thoughts, feelings, and narration. Always external, what is observable by an audience. We show, we don't tell. Example from text. The author tells us, Lucifer, the embodiment of pride, envy, and the father of lies, orchestrates elaborate, wicked schemes. A screenwriter shows this. Lucifer smirks as he watches his followers anguish, or he executes a plan that makes a holy man stumble. The screenwriting role: we must strip away the beautiful, internal prose and leave only the action and dialogue. Look at the opening scene describing Lucifer's hall. A novelist can spend a paragraph describing the smell of sulfur and the oppressive heat. A screenwriter must convey that in 1 or 2 impactful lines of action, leaving the rest to the production designer and the sound mixer. 2. The screenwriter's role in film and television. Your role is unique and foundational. You are the architect of the film, the blueprint creator. You are writing a technical document. The script is the blueprint that guides the entire production. The director, the actors, the set designer, the costume designer, the cinematographer, and the editor. Every single department takes cues from the words you put on the page. The keeper of intent. You ensure the story's core themes and character arcs are clear and cinematic. In our example, the screenwriter must translate the theme of the eternal battle of the soul into concrete, visual battles Wang fights, not just philosophical musings. The translator. You translate concepts, like a quest for truth, into actions. Wang asking a difficult question, Wang defying a temptation. The key is the observable action. 3. Standard screenplay structure, the format. To be a professional screenwriter, you must adhere to the industry standard format. It is non-negotiable because it ensures the script is readable and, crucially, helps with timing. 1 page of script typically equals 1 minute of screen time. A scene heading, slugline. This is the first line of any new scene. It tells the reader and the crew exactly where and when the scene takes place. It is always in all caps. Format, int, xt, location, time of day. Enter interior, inside, xt, exterior, outside. Applying it to our text, a perfect slug line for the opening of the second passage would be int Lucifer's throne hall, night. B action description, the narrative. This is the descriptive text that tells us what is happening, what we see, and what the characters are doing. It must be written in the present tense and should be brief, punchy, and purely visual. Prose versus screenplay translation. Original prose. Screenplay action line. palatial hall forged from molten gold, with obsidian pillars adorned by intricate golden serpents. A vast hall forged from molten gold. Obsidian pillars coil with serpents of bright gold. Lucifer, once renowned among the angels as the morning star, reclined upon a throne of pure, liquid gold. Lucifer, an echo of former splendor, reclines on a throne of liquid gold. Their sheer, alluring attire billowed with each movement. 3 seductive sisters, Ishtar, Anahita, Lilith, dance, their sheer silk billowing. Notice we bold character names when they first appear. This is a technical requirement that helps the assistant director with casting and tracking. See dialogue. This is simply what the characters say. The character's name, in all caps, is centered above the lines of dialogue. Applying it to our text. Lucifer, your services have been invaluable. Sometimes you need to include a parenthetical, an instruction to the actor, or a clarification on how a line is delivered. This is placed under the character name and before the dialogue in parentheses. Lucifer, mocking, enjoying the sound. Your services have been invaluable. In-class exercise, writing a short, everyday scene. Now, let's put this into practice. Your task, take this small, everyday moment and turn it into a correctly formatted screenplay page. The story moment, a student, overwhelmed by the pressure of his screenwriting class, is trying to write a scene in a crowded, noisy coffee shop. He is drinking a cold, bitter coffee. He checks his phone and sees a text message from his friend, a message that is clearly a distraction and a joke. He types a frustrated reply and slams his laptop shut, defeated. Instructions. Start with a correct slug line. Use action lines to describe only what the camera sees, the crowd, the coffee, the phone, the laptop. Include a brief dialogue exchange. The text message, reply, even though it's on a phone, is still dialogue. Remember, show, don't tell. Don't write, he felt angry and frustrated. Write. He grips his pen so hard his knuckles turn white. Let's see what you come up with. Focus entirely on the format and the visual language. You have 15 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. Take your seats. Today, we're not just looking at a piece of prose. We're performing a screenwriter's autopsy on an author's introduction and a short scene, excerpt from a novel, Wang, Amidst the Shadows of Deception and the Light of Truth by Stefan Afshar. Remember, a novel is a blueprint for an interior experience. A screenplay is a blueprint for a visual, exterior experience. Our job is to take the essence of the novel, the theme, the character journey, the setting, and translate it into concrete, active, visible, and audible elements. Lesson 1. Theme, stakes, and the logline. The author's introduction is a goldmine for understanding the core theme and stakes. Analysis. Core themes. The author explicitly states them. The intricate nature of good and evil. The unbreakable ties between past and present. Destiny versus free will. The power of choice and the essence of human salvation. The eternal battles between light, darkness, truth, falsehood, faith, doubt. Character and journey, the protagonist. Wang is a young man from a mystical land. His journey is an involuntary voyage through time and space, thrusting him into the pivotal era of Jesus Christ. He struggles on 2 fronts. The modern world, hospital wrestling with existence. The ancient world, supernatural world. Jerusalem, Jordan River, Lucifer's realm. The central conflict is for his soul's salvation. Antagonist and stakes. Lucifer, the embodiment of pride, deception, and the father of lies. His stakes are dominion over humanity's ignorance and sin. He's a master schemer who tries to trap Wang's soul and mislead key historical figures, like John the Baptist. Exercise 1. The screenwriter's logline. A logline is a 1 or 2 sentence summary that encapsulates the protagonist, the antagonist, the central conflict, and the stakes. It's your selling point. Your task, based only on the author's introduction. Draft 3 different loglines for the screenplay of Wang. Amidst the shadows of deception and the light of truth. Aim for punchy, active language. Example of a rough, passive attempt. Don't do this. A young man named Wang goes on a journey through time and space to the time of Jesus Christ where he must fight Lucifer to save his soul. Too generic, no flavor. Goal: create a logline that captures the unique blend of modern suspense, time travel, and high-stakes spiritual warfare. Lesson 2. Translating prose into visual scene description. Now let's look at the excerpted scene in Lucifer's hall. This is where the rubber meets the road. Novel prose is rich in sensory detail, emotion, and internal thoughts. We need to turn that into crisp. Action line-ready description. Analysis of the setting, Lucifer's hall. Prose. A palatial hall forged from molten gold, with obsidian pillars adorned by intricate golden serpents, a throne of pure liquid gold, embellished with rubies that gleamed like solidified drops of blood. The gentle dripping of molten gold from the high ceiling occasionally punctuated the silence, while the sharp scent of sulfur and the heavy aroma of hot metal permeated the air. Translation challenges. How do you show a hall forged from molten gold without exposition? Solution. Focus on texture and light reflection. How do you convey oppressive heat? Solution. Through character reaction, sweat, visible shimmer in the air. How do you convey the sharp scent of sulfur and heavy aroma of hot metal in a visual medium? Solution: sound, sizzling, dripping. Visuals: smoke, heat haze, character descriptions. Exercise 2. The scene heading and scene description.